everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 204. We're going to be talking about a prehistoric reptile, and that prehistoric reptile is Rutiodon. And so here's an artist rendition of what Rutiodon possibly looked like. Now, this is the best that I can find out of all the Rutiodon images, and so let's actually get started, shall we? So the name Rutiodon means wrinkled tooth. Length can be 10 to 26 feet or 3 to 8 meters, and weight is 200 to 300 pounds. And so it's somewhat of a, it can be, some certain types of species of Rutiodon can be small to really large. And it lived at 237 to 208 million years ago in the Triassic period, so mostly mid to late Triassic period. And the fossils are found in New Jersey, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Virginia of the United States. And fossils were described, or the species was described by Emmons in 1856. So this is a reptile that was discovered a long, long time ago. And this is kind of somewhat pre-Bone Wars times. And so this is a scientist that discovered Rutiodon, or described Rutiodon. I wouldn't say discovered, but described it. And so here we actually have a map of the United States, and where you can see highlighted the border, where I kind of highlighted the states where the Rutiodon fossils are found. So and they're all green and yellow here, believe it or not. So Virginia is this yellow state right here on the east coast of the United States, midway of the east coast, and of course North Carolina, that green state below Virginia, and then over here on the northern part of somewhat of the northern part of the east coast is you got Pennsylvania, that big green state right there, and then New Jersey is this tiny yellow state, excuse me, tiny yellow state that is east of Pennsylvania. And so Rutiodon fossils are mostly found on the east coast of the United States. And here's a picture of the skeleton. This was on display, I believe, in the American Museum of Natural History way back when. I think this was taken, in the 50s. And so, yeah, this is an animal that has been around for a long, long time. But the thing is, I could not find a scale picture that I could find of Rutiodon compared to a human being. And so they just use other types of phytosaurs that are along with it. And so let's actually get to more information about Rutiodon. And so more information about Rutiodon. It is part of the Phytosauria, so it is a phytosaur, so an ancient group of reptiles that would look like crocodiles, but they're not totally crocodiles. And it's part of the family group of Parasuchidae, and it is part of the subfamily of Mystriosauchinae. So it is kind of on that type of phytosaur area where it's got the elongated, thin snout, needle sharp teeth, and that type of like conch, like in the front part of the skull. And so yeah, this is a pretty phytosaurs are really, really weird. They're weird looking types of reptiles. And some features about Rutiodon: it has bony scutes in the skin on the back, so kind of like crocodiles. They have these bony scutes on its back, going all the way towards the base of the skull. And so yeah, and then you got needle sharp cone-shaped teeth. And so these teeth are very conical. They don't have serrations, and so they're going to be designed to grab and hang on to prey. It is semi-aquatic, so like crocodiles, it is semi-aquatic, kind of like all crocodilians, and is a carnivore based on the needle-sharp cone-shaped teeth. The environment in which Rutiodon lived in would have been warm and dry. There would have been wet and dry seasons. The plants around it would have been ferns, cycads, and trees. No grass and no flowers. Those were not around at that point in time in the Triassic. And of course, there would have been plenty of rivers and lakes and ponds for Rutiodon to live in, mostly rivers and lakes. And the other types of animals that lived around it were some insects, amphibians, reptiles, mammal-like reptiles. So these are animals that have mammalian features, but they're still classified as reptiles. And so, like, say they're like when they walk, they're kind of like going side to side. Their backbone is almost side to side, but they do have a little bit of hair. They got whiskers and so on and so forth. That have been pterosaurs, small pterosaurs. See, pterosaurs started out in the Triassic, kind of around the same time as the dinosaurs, and of course there were dinosaurs around that point in time, but they were not as common as they were in in the Jurassic and Cretaceous. So in the Triassic, dinosaurs were still considered rare, and so archosaurs, those types of reptiles, and phytosaurs were the ones that were dominant in the Triassic. And the prey that Rutiodon would have actually gone for would have been fish. Fish was probably the number one food source for Rutiodon. It would have gone after amphibians as well, even some crustaceans that were around at that point in time too, some snails and all that sorts of stuff. But I didn't include them in there in this list. Small reptiles. It would have gone after small reptiles, mainly like say hatchling or otherwise kind of like lizard-like um, creatures, small dinosaurs. They would have actually been able to eat eat some certain types of dinosaurs. So kind of like dinosaurs, almost similar to Coelophysis. And then pterosaurs, those the tiny pterosaurs. So it would have been pretty good meals for Rutiodon. A single Rutiodon would have eaten a pterosaur. A group of pterosaurs that would have that's a different story. But yeah, and so those are all the prey that Rutiodon would have gone after. Now, the extinction of Rutiodon is mostly due to climate change, and with this, population of phytosaurs decreased during the late Triassic, and so archosaurs were becoming more and more common. So these are like kind of almost like land crocodiles in a way, um, but of course these were almost similar to dinosaurs, but not really dinosaurs, that sort of thing. So the phytosaurs were decreasing in population, so they were not becoming as common in the late Triassic. Temperatures rose in the late Triassic as well, so temperatures were going up, and that would have been a problem for certain types of for those phytosaurs, and the crocodile ancestors began their dominance, and so these were like ancestors to crocodiles, and they were just spreading into areas where the phytosaurs were pretty much dominant, but also they were losing ground. And those crocodile-like ancestors, those types of archosaurs that would become crocodiles, they really did start to take over those like semi-aquatic lifestyles. And the other thing that was happening in the late Triassic was dinosaur populations were increasing. Not size though. Size would actually start increasing around the Triassic-Jurassic border. And so that particular point in time is where dinosaurs start to increase in size, not in but mostly in population. Population of dinosaurs were increasing at that point in time in the late Triassic. And Rutiodon died out before the Triassic extinction event. And so this is when the breakup of Pangea was becoming really a big event happening. And so that's where like the kind of like the continent of North America is breaking away from like Europe and Africa, and Africa was starting to split apart from South America, and that's what was happening uh, at that point in time in the Triassic. And so Rutiodon died out before the Triassic event. So phytosaurs pretty much died out because of the rest of the other phytosaurs died out because of the Triassic extinction event. And here's a map of 220 million years ago. So this is right around the prime time of Rutiodon. So this is when Rutiodon was at its prime, and you can kind of see where North America really is. And so the east coast of the U.S., that's where Rutiodon would have actually have been pretty dominant uh, otherwise. And so, yeah, and there you actually have that type of area where Rutiodon was in their prime. And so the next episode is on April 13th, 2023, and that'll be a Q&A episode. So so if you got any questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messenger's for private conversations. So please put your questions in the comment section because that helps out, so I can see it. And for you YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet. So please hit that like button. It helps out the video, spread the algorithm to people that are interested in dinosaurs and other prehistoric life. Subscribe to the channel. So hit that subscribe button. It's free. There's no charge to it. And of course, hit that bell so that way you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. And also for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section because I do read them all. Your questions do mean a lot in the Q&A episodes, and you guys are awesome. So all of you that are sending me questions through email, Facebook, and YouTube, you guys are awesome. You're putting up some great questions, and make sure you keep your questions short to the point. And also go to the community tab on my YouTube channel. Hit that community tab. You can see some certain posts that I put on there, and you can actually put your questions in those posts. Feel free to do so. And also you can check out my Instagram. It's DinoChris71 at DinoChris71 or not DinoChris71 at DinoChris.pf. And so that's my Instagram. So if you want to check that out, I post pretty cool stuff on there. Pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRAL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you. Nurse for younger people out there to make some listen to parents and teachers and guardians. It's the best motivation you could have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now. Now, see you guys next time.